Hello, and welcome to the Kongversation. I'm Hyle Russell.
And I am Dustin Jackson.
Dustin, I have been playing a couple of games this summer, and none of them are new. I have been playing Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is pretty new. It's a year old at this point, and of course I play it very religiously, but I have also been playing, well, Sea of Thieves, but that's also, I was going to say pretty recent, but it's 8 years old, so it's getting up there. But I have also been playing Banjo-Kazooie, which is 28 years old. However,
oh my goodness.
With the context for Banjo-Kazooie, I have been playing the new build of it on the Super Pocket Rare Edition. So technically, it's the newest of all of them. It's newer than Donkey Kong Bonanza, even.
Hey, what's old is new, some people say, right? Some people say that sometimes?
Some people say that sometimes. You know, like fashion comes back around, you know, like baggy clothes are back in fashion, like the 1990s, like the time when people were first playing Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, and also Austin Powers was frozen in the 60s and he was thawed out in the 90s.
What if he was frozen then in the 90s and he's thawed out today?
Could you, well, I think it would go a little something like this.
Could you imagine, like, Austin Powers stumbles onto, like, January 6th?
Oh, no, I don't like that.
And then they just, he just gets everybody dancing the Quincy Jones dance in the Capitol.
See, that's all people needed to chill out, was to have Austin Powers stumble through and have a good, fun dance time.
Oh, what are we doing here? Well, I was trying to segue before we started talking about a shagadelic good time, baby. Yeah. I was talking about Banjo-Kazooie and how replaying it on the Super Pocket has kind of reaffirmed my love for it. You know, it's a game I will always hold in such high esteem, but when you don't have a reason to constantly revisit it, like monthly Emerald Rush events or just the grind of Sea of Thieves, you know, it can kind of fade away a little bit as far as being relevant to your modern life. And I think that having this new build on the Super Pocket, which is just phenomenal what they were able to do with it, and of course the post-game rewards more than justify the purchase for it. I won't get into spoilers there, but check out the episode that Gemma and I did, our first impressions on the Super Pocket Rare Edition, for more context there. But I've been replaying it, and I was just thinking, you know, I pretty much love all of the worlds in Banjo-Kazooie. I mean, there are different degrees to which I love them, but I don't think there is really a soul-crushing world in the bunch.
I don't think so either. I think it's a very strong assortment of levels.
Yeah.
Here's a question though, Hyle. What would you consider your least favorite stage?
I think
just out of curiosity.
I think it just depends on where I am in my life and like even just approaching that stage, how I'm feeling that particular day. Because when I did a DK Vine Done Slow playthrough of Banjo-Kazooie when it came to NSO or shortly thereafter, I just had the worst time with Mad Monster Mansion. I mean, I hated Mad Monster Mansion. And then replaying it on the Super Pocket, I'm like, what was I on about? This is great. So I don't know if I can honestly answer that. Like Rusty Bucket Bay, most people would point to that. I really, really like Rusty Bucket Bay.
I love Rusty. I think Rusty Bucket Bay might be in my top 3, maybe even my second favorite.
I love the aesthetic. I love the feel. I like how it's a well-worn kind of setting for a Rare or DKU game, but it feels so unique to this game in particular. So, yeah, I love Rusty Bucket Bay. Of course, I think Click Clock Wood is my favorite, which a lot of people would be befuddled at, given that they don't like climbing the tree. But being the nature buff that I am and just like being in the forest is kind of my religion, I just
Right.
really, really adore the hell out of the conceit of Click Clock Wood. But yeah, I don't think even Mumbo's Mountain, which is basically nothing, it's still, I think, kind of an important stepping stone in the game. And it has a lot of very memorable areas and set pieces.
Yeah, oh, for sure. It's a great, solid start. Like you said, just not a bad stage in the bunch. I think if I had to pick a least favorite, it might be Clanker's Cavern.
Yeah.
But I don't even mind swimming that much, but it's just the level, like, the least amount of, like, characters to talk to, just not a whole lot going on. But it's still good.
Yeah, it's still good. Even Clanker's Cavern, which I, like, hold up in my memory as being this horrible slog, going back to it, I'm like, this isn't that bad. And even the part with Gloop, it's not as foreboding as your memory made it out to be, or rather how bad it felt when you were a kid trying to swim down there. It felt really scary. And then I'm like, oh, I've swum much deeper in other games since then. This is really nothing.
Well, also, how upset can you be when you're with a character as sexy as Gloop?
So sexy. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Does he make me Randy?
Yes.
Yes, he does. But I was just thinking, it's been over a year. It's almost been 2 years since the Kongversation has done a Destination DKU episode.
Seriously? It's been that long? Wow.
It's been that long because Donkey Kong Bonanza really did just upend a lot of our reoccurring episode formats.
That's
and
true.
We just talked about Donkey Kong Bonanza last year. I mean, for good reason, but the kind of routine, the steady pace that each Kongversation season goes on was definitely thrown askew because of having this major new game falling into our Switch 2s. So I was thinking, it's overdue doing a Destination DKU episode. For those unaware, Destination DKU episodes are where the Kongversation takes a look at a singular location in the Donkey Kong universe, or, the greater shared rare universe. And this doesn't mean we're just taking a look at it in one game. We're taking a look at this location as it exists as a location. So it's not just, and then you get the flight pad, and then you can fly up to the lockup up by the cliffside. No, you don't do that. We don't do that. That's boring. That's an audio walkthrough. You don't need that from us. What we like to do is take a look at the location, the setting, as it would exist as a real place within the shared universe. And so I was thinking it's a good opportunity, being that Banjo-Kazooie is so fresh on the brain, and there is a actual reason to talk about Banjo-Kazooie in a current context, like it has been frozen for 30 years and thawed out. And then I was like, well, it's Stinky Ape Summer. What would be the most seasonally appropriate location to talk about? 1/4 of Click Clock Wood? I don't think so. Let's talk about the second world of Banjo-Kazooie. Let's talk about Treasure Trove Cove.
Yay!
Yay! So that's what we'll be doing on this episode of The Kongversation. We'll be talking about Treasure Trove Cove as an island, as a setting within the DKU, and all the little lore nuggets that have accumulated in the years since its debut.
Hey, Hyle. Hey, Hyle. Remember earlier when I said Rusty Bucket Bay was my second favorite Banjo-Kazooie stage?
Yeah, I remember.
Well, guess what's number one?
Number one. Well, there's number ones in Lago in Mad Monster Mansion. Like, there's just
You're so right about that.
There's a standing pool of piss, and I assume it's Gruntilda's piss too, which makes it extra special.
Of course, it's very strong. But Treasure Trove Cove is my number one favorite Banjo-Kazooie stage.
I kind of knew that already, which is why I asked if you wanted to be on this episode.
Oh, you know me so well.
Well, also, I needed to do an episode, and so I had to present you with something that you wouldn't turn down.
Turn my head up in disgust at you.
Yeah.
Spit in your direction.
Ooh, that will cool me down in this hot, Stinky Ape Summer climate.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Could you imagine if Charles Dickens just wrote about orphans getting spat upon because they loved it so much?
Yeah, it's how they keep cool in the summertime.
Yeah, they didn't have access to fire hydrants.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to get into Treasure Trove Cove on this episode. But before we start, I wanted to say thank you to our DK Vine patrons. If you would like to support DK Vine, if you would like to support independent Donkey Kong journalism and Donkey Kong universe, news articles, written features, podcast, and videos, then go to patreon.com/DK Vine. We do live stream these episodes of the Kongversation for our $5 plus patrons. And we are recording this. We're actually counter-programming the World Cup final, which wasn't the plan. It was originally going to be the day before, but then storms knocked out my power, and so we couldn't actually do it on the scheduled day. So we have kind of a paltry crew with us today. Most people are probably watching the World Cup. So a special thank you goes to Just Andre, S. Monaco 14, Gem, Cotbox, and Traveler of the Stars.
You know what, Hyle? The real party is here. I think all the cool people are showing up here today.
I dispute that, but I'm grateful for them all the same. Thank you so much for being here. The thing is, right, I just can't be bothered to keep up with it.
Right, me neither.
It's not like I have any animosity towards it. Like I would honestly like put on association football in the background when I would be doing work, just because it's a sport that wasn't shoved down my throat as an awkward kid who didn't develop his fine motor skills yet and didn't really come into his own athletic abilities until he was closer to adulthood. But I just can't keep up with it. I have emerald rushes to do.
Right, the more important stuff.
The DK challenge. By the way, I have got 2 more DK challenges to do. I said I was taking my time with it. Well, I now have the last 2 to complete, which is...
Are they the hardest ones?
The boss rush and the final rehearsal, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm a little leery. I'm a little nervous about that.
You got this, Hyle. If anyone believes in you, I probably do too.
Wow, that gives me the boost I need. Wow, I'm practically floating on confidence now.
Yeah, you might have this.
I think that, all in all, you really like put the fear of log in me with that Ramby Rumble one.
Oh yeah, that one, not great. It's fun to figure out, but it's, I might even say that one's the hardest one.
I enjoyed that. Like, it took me a bit to just get the timing right, like hitting the floating platforms, going through the gold, and like clearing enough of it so it counts as a lap and doesn't just put me back.
Right.
It took me a while, but I had fun constantly, like, screwed that run up, restart, screwed that up, restart. You were right about the surfing for gold one. That one was irritating just because you would have to leave and come back. Like, you would have to go to the warp gong and then go to another layer and then come back to do it again.
Yeah, but if you got it, if you know what you're doing, it's pretty easy.
I forgot what you told me about it, and so it took me a while to figure out which costume, which outfit I should equip to make it possible. So that one was a thinker too.
But you eventually got it?
I got it, yeah. I got it last
Nice.
night, so that's why I'm talking about it. It's fresh in the brain.
That's awesome, Hyle. I knew you had it in you, champ.
Just Andre has some armchair psychoanalysis of me, which I always like to see. It's cheaper than real therapy. It says, I think the key to winning Hyle over is not to shove things down his throat. He grew up hating Disney because he felt talked down to having adults assume he'd like it, even though he probably would have otherwise. That can continued on with Pixar, and in terms of video games, look at his conflicted relationship with Mario. I mean, that continues to this day, just Andre. It's like the show Ted Lasso. Everybody was saying, watch Ted Lasso. And I'm like, fuck you. I don't want to watch fucking Ted Lasso. And I gave it a shot the other week, and I binged all of them. It's pretty good.
Oh, nice. My mom likes that show. I have not seen it.
I like your mom. It's fine.
Cool.
We watched it together, Dustin.
That's awesome. I'm glad I wasn't invited.
Traveler of the Star says, maybe you should be more open-minded, Hyle. I'm open-minded about the world. It's just entertainment. I just don't like to be peer pressured.
Yeah, Hyle changed his tune on Donkey Kong Jungle Beat.
That's right.
How much more open-minded can you be?
And Ted Lasso. Come on now.
Yeah, those are the two big ones.
Everybody wants me to watch Shrek, but I feel like that one needs to be special. That one needs to be like, I think I said like 10,000 YouTube subscribers for DK Vine, and then I will watch Shrek.
Oh, do you know where we're at right now on that?
We're like 4,000 to go.
Okay, so it probably won't happen in this lifetime, but you never know.
No, it'll happen in this lifetime. I just don't know what year or age I'll be.
Hyle's going to be 70 watching Shrek for the first time.
Also, the thing about video games and me, right, is that I like to do more than just play video games. And so because I write about video games, talk about video games, do creative endeavors about video games, when I'm not...
You need a break from it.
I need a break from video games, and quite honestly, I like to do so much more than video games that if you're telling me to play this game or that game, it's not going to happen, generally speaking, because I have other hobbies and passions and interests, and yeah, I just don't have the hours of the day. If you can freeze time for me or develop a drug that will keep me awake but won't negatively impact my health, then maybe I will play things like Sparks of Hope and Breath of the Wild and name your game here. Maybe I'll do it, but...
When the lights go off, then it's non-DKU game time.
Yeah. I'm a masturbator. What do you want? Like, how am I supposed to play these games when one of my hands is occupied?
You think I got time for anything else? Get out of here.
All right. Well, let's get into it then, Dustin. Let's talk about Treasure Trove Cove, which I'd
love to.
I always have to say every Banjo-Kazooie world in this grand declarative fashion, not dissimilar to the way John Lovitz would announce them on the VHS tape promoting Banjo-Kazooie back in 98.
I love that tape. I love that tape, Hyle.
I've worn that tape out. Which,
I'll say.
Well, yeah, I was going to say right after I made the statement about how much I like gooning, then maybe there's this implied notion that I like used it for self-pleasuring methods.
Let's just say you can't have one without the other, am I right?
Let's just say there's a reason rewatching The Critic gets me all hot and bothered.
I have to go into the other room.
All right, Destination DKU Treasure Trove Cove. Now, fair warning, we're probably going to be talking a lot about Sea of Thieves in this one, despite it being notionally a Banjo-Kazooie episode. And the only
there goes everyone in the chat.
Yeah, everybody leaves. No, the reason we have to bring up Sea of Thieves is because out of every DKU game since Banjo-Kazooie, Sea of Thieves has probably provided us the most additional context for Treasure Trove Cove. So it's kind of important. We can't avoid it. I'm sorry. We can't. It's part of the history. So Treasure Trove Cove, as established by Sea of Thieves, its location is likely within the Sea of Thieves. For those who don't know where the Sea of Thieves is in the greater context of the universe, the Sea of Thieves is kind of this pocket universe or realm that's accessed through entry points, one of which, the one that's known to pirates in Sea of Thieves, through the British Virgin Islands. or what would become the British Virgin Islands in the Caribbean. There's like this set coordinates you sail on, and then you find the Devil's Shroud and you sail through the Devil's Shroud, and then you're in the Sea of Thieves, where the stars are different. It's just in this weird realm that's like adjacent to Earth realm, but not necessarily on the planet as we know it.
Right.
And we know this because the opening of Sea of Thieves, the intro of Sea of Thieves, it kind of sweeps around the map. And in the corner, very briefly, you can see Treasure Trove Cove is marked on the map.
Oh my goodness gracious. Mm-hmm. One of the first things you see in the whole game.
Yeah, I think it's like the very first thing you see after the Rare logo and the introductory text. It's like swings over and there it is, and it's very blink and you'll miss it. I think Cameron was the first one to catch it on the day it came out, so we quickly screenshotted it. But Treasure Trove Cove, of course, is not accessible in Sea of Thieves, and that's because it's presumably still within the Devil's Shroud, the kind of foggy, weird, toxic cloud that surrounds the Sea of Thieves, and it's an in-game conceit, so you can't just sail continuously. You eventually hit the Devil's Shroud, and everything turns red and spooky, and your ship starts breaking apart. But there are islands within the Devil's Shroud, and according to the literature, like the expanded universe, the novels and stuff, the Devil's Shroud will ebb and flow, and sometimes it will spread further out, revealing more islands and putting them within the Sea of Thieves. For example, in Athena's Fortune, the first Sea of Thieves novel, it was established that Tribute Peak, otherwise known as the Shores of Gold in Sea of Thieves, was actually briefly part of the greater body of the Sea of Thieves because the Devil's Shroud receded, and we actually had Tribute Peak at the far end of the Wilds region of Sea of Thieves. And in Sea of Thieves, the game, the Shroud went back, and you have to use other means to reach Tribute Peak, something called the Shroud Breaker. But this does happen from time to time where the Devil's Shroud will get pushed back, or it will move, and, you know, presumably islands that are in Sea of Thieves right now can also be reclaimed by the Devil's Shroud, and therefore it's inaccessible to people sailing around the Sea of Thieves. So, like, Treasure Trove Cove is not considered part of the Sea of Thieves, like, political map during the game itself, but it, I assume, would be somewhere, like, to the west, like somewhere near the Shores of Plenty, probably.
Right. Yeah, it can come and go.
Yeah. And, like, it's still, like, able to exist in the Devil's Shroud. It's like not being choked of all life when it's in the Devil's Shroud. You just can't sail to it. It's still, like, perfectly sunny on Treasure Trove Cove. If the Devil's Shroud is around it, you just can't access it by boat, basically.
A real shame, because that's one of the places I most want to go.
I am saying, like, they've added custom seas to Sea of Thieves in Season 20, which is basically this separate, like, God mode where you can just create your own custom servers and your own context, and you can just get really, really silly with it. And they do have, like, several so-called legendary locations you can pull up that otherwise you wouldn't be able to reach through normal means. So, like, Tribute Peak is one of them. You've got the Sea Dogs Tavern, which was the home of the arena. You've got an area in the Sea of the Damned, the Tavern of the Damned. And so I'm thinking they could just add Treasure Trove Cove to that and just allow you to romp around on this, like, HD modern reimagining of Treasure Trove Cove in Sea of Thieves. Could you imagine if they did that for Banjo-Kazooie's 30th?
That would be incredible. I would love that. I mean, you know, we've talked for a long time now how great it would be if they added Captain Black Eye into the game.
Right.
Like a physical appearance.
Yes, an actual
Treasure
NPC.
Trove Cove would be great, too.
Yeah. Once again, Greg Mayles did sail around as Captain Black Eye, like role-played as him when he was playing the game on the regular. But we still are waiting for him to appear as an NPC.
I want to talk to him.
And TT, of course. And TT.
And TT, of course.
So, Treasure Trove Cove in 1998, however, it can be accessed via Grunty's lair. And I have some theories about this, Dustin. I don't know if we're going to be in agreement about this,
okay.
But like we know Treasure Trove Cove is physically within the Sea of Thieves. And so, you know, the worlds in Banjo-Kazooie, as opposed to Banjo-Tooie, they're accessed through like gateways in Grunty's lair. And then Grunty's Revenge, the GBA interquel between Kazooie and Tooie, also has worlds accessed kind of in the same way throughout Spiral Mountain. So,
right.
Like, I think that those worlds, you kind of teleport to them. And since Treasure Trove Cove is one of them, I think it makes me believe that all of the worlds in Banjo-Kazooie and Grunty's Revenge are sort of within the same pocket realm as the Sea of Thieves.
Interesting. I never really thought about it that way. I just kind of thought, you go through a portal and it takes you to a place in the world.
To be clear, they didn't plan this out in 1998. I'm not saying this was some sort of master plan from Rare, but it's interesting because what can part the Devil's Shroud, what can pierce it, are these like magical metals, and they use these magical metals in Sea of Thieves to comprise several different things. You got the Shroud Breaker device, but you also have ancient coins, which are made of this metal, and enough ancient coins can actually then have the power to part the shroud, which is kind of a ongoing subplot in the game. This notion that the Grand Maritime Union, Sea of Thieves equivalent to the East India Company in real life, they're trying to access the Sea of Thieves, and they're collecting ancient coins, because if they have enough, their big ships will be able to part the Devil's Shroud, and they'll be able to exploit the Sea of Thieves for all of its riches and wealth. So, it makes me wonder, well, Jiggies, what are Jiggies comprised of? And are Jiggies then, in effect, Shroud Breakers?
They do open up these portals to these worlds.
They do. And so, yeah, I think, like, all of the worlds, for whatever reason, Spiral Mountain has a lot of entrances. And I'm including Grunty's Lair as part of, like, the Spiral Mountain region. Has a lot of entrances to this realm, whether it's Mumbo's Mountain, Freeze's EP, Click Clock Wood, Bad Magic Bayou, Spiller's Harbor. And so, yeah, if you have Jiggies, you can then break the shroud and enter this realm. So, I don't know. It's a theory. It's never been explicitly confirmed, but I like drawing these connections between the games because they do just give you enough to go off of. And as we've seen with Rare's Donkey Kong games, other people have also run with the same ideas, like how Bonanza further elaborated on the concepts of Lost Worlds and the Kremlin Source, and kind of tied it all together in brilliant fashion.
Hey, you know what? I guess Banjo's not the only one putting pieces together, am I right?
You can do it a little bit better than I can, if you've ever seen me try to do the Bottles bonus puzzles.
Oh, that's okay, Hyle. Maybe if you could physically turn into a washing machine, it would give you more of an incentive.
Oh, that would be great.
To be a washing machine?
I have so many filthy linens. Could you imagine how easy it would be if I could just pop them in my belly?
That's why you have a washing machine, to do that while you do other stuff.
I know, but I have to get up.
You would lose your hands. Good luck masturbating as a washing machine, I'll say that much.
No, it's so much easier because then anything you soil, you can immediately clean and nobody knows what you did.
You know what? I guess I hadn't thought of that. I hadn't looked at it in that way. You're so right.
You've always got to have an escape plan, Dustin. So, yeah, the ability to then jump to various points in this realm via the portals in Spiral Mountain, that would explain how these various pockets in this world are full of the anthropomorphic animals and googly-eyed items that are otherwise resplendent in the rare archipelago and, Spiral Mountain and the Isle of Hags. It's they're going through these portals and they're populating these pockets of this realm. But if they are in the Devil's Shroud, that explains why they're not impacting the larger Sea of Thieves area beyond the Shroud. It's because they're stuck in these pockets. Like, the people who are living in, say, Gobi's Valley aren't then sailing outward to the Sea of Thieves because they can't. They can't leave the general area of Gobi's Valley.
Right, you're not going to be seeing any talking camels or gigantic mechanical sharks in the Sea of Thieves.
Not yet, at least. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful they'll have a big Banjo-Kazooie event in 2 years, and we can just get it all out of our system then. However, we do know, thanks to Sea of Thieves, that just enough human pirates have occasionally breached Treasure Trove Cove. Like, they've found a way through the Shroud, and they have encountered, at the very least, the Jinjos on Treasure Trove Cove, because recently Sea of Thieves added the Help Me emote, which has a description that reads, "In far-off Treasure Trove Cove, this is recognized as a plea for help." And so, presumably, some pirates found the Jinjos on Treasure Trove Cove, because remember, during the time of Sea of Thieves, Jinjos lived in Spiral Mountain and in the mountain that would become Grunty's lair. So they were probably popping in Treasure Trove Cove all the damn time back then.
And instead of helping the Jinjos, they pointed at them, laughed, and said, "Let's do that too."
Yeah, well, here's the thing too. If the Grand Maritime Union, who are funding the Emporium in the Sea of Thieves, and that's how, like, they're procuring ancient coins, if they're, like, then sending scouts through the Devil's Shroud within the Sea of Thieves to these various islands that can't otherwise be reached, then yeah, they found Treasure Trove Cove, they chronicled the Jinjos, and then they sold the ability to do the emote to pirates. Like, hey, wave your hands like this and say, "Help!" Do that.
Yeah, they did not like Jinjos enough to actually help them, but they will steal their culture.
Well, the Grand Maritime Union, yeah, they're colonizers. They're not good people. They're there to exploit the land, to make money, and to pillage it for all of its worth. And so just be glad they didn't explore even further and wind back to Spiral Mountain, like go out of the portal and then go down to Spiral Mountain, because otherwise the Jinjos would have been not only driven from their homeland, but probably exterminated long before 1978.
It can always be worse.
It could always be worse. There's always a worse timeline. Just like Grunty's Revenge at one point was going to be a worse timeline than Banjo-Tooie.
I'm so glad they didn't do that.
As interesting as a notion as it would have been, I think it works pretty well as an interquel.
Yeah, I like all of it being canon.
Hey, speaking of Grunty's Revenge, if we go through this logic train, this logic chuffy, and we say, well, the worlds then might all be within the same realm, then Breagle Beach would also plausibly be within Sea of Thieves. And also, Breagle Beach, the second world of Grunty's Revenge. And it would also probably be pretty close to Treasure Trove Cove, like one of its neighbors. And I say that because, we explore Breagle Beach in Grunty's Revenge, and we fight a skeleton pirate on a ghost ship. Remember that?
That's scary.
That is
Yeah,
scary.
I was trying to forget. Now I'm scared again.
But, by the way, Matt named this pirate Cap'n Skeleton, and that's the name we use at DK Vine. But this is a, like, ghostly apparition of a skelly pirate, and the ghost ship is so damn similar to the ghost ships in Sea of Thieves that when they added ghost ships to Sea of Thieves, I was like, wait a second, is this actually a Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge reference? Because it's so close to the way they're portrayed there that it just works in a shared universe context.
Right. It's something that you can connect without having to massage too much.
It's something you can connect sports rivals even.
Yeah, you know what? That's also something you can say.
It's another Rare game. It's another DKU game.
You're good at this Rare podcast stuff.
Mumbo was in it, kind of.
That's so true.
That is true. So, another reason I think Breagle Beach and Treasure Trove Cove are pretty nearby each other is for a very stupid reason, because in Banjo-Pilot, Breagle Beach is just a reskinned Treasure Trove Cove, complete with the lighthouse, and
you can see Treasure Trove Cove in the background.
Either that, or it's just an identical structure built on Breagle Beach. So I'm just like, yeah, you know what? They're neighbors.
Yeah, why not? Who cares?
The proximity to Breagle Beach might also explain how so many red feathers and blue eggs washed up on Treasure Trove Cove.
That's true. You know, Hyle, you have a whole big picture of Breagle Beach here in the show notes.
Yeah.
It's very cool seeing just all of it all at once. It looks a lot nicer than I remembered.
I would say Breagle Beach with the rest of Grunty's Revenge is a lot nicer than most people remember. It really makes me hope we get re-releases of the THQ4 soon, whether that's on an Evercade release or even NSO.
Yeah, it sucks that it has to get left out when it really shouldn't be. Like, it seems like something that should just be around.
You get this weird subculture of Banjo-Kazooie fandom where they only count like the 2 N64 games.
If even that, sometimes they just like the first one.
Yeah, and I mean the first one is fantastic. I understand to a degree, but I'm like, if you really, really love the world and characters of Banjo-Kazooie, why wouldn't you want this deeper dive? I mean, Grunty's Revenge does so much to kind of shore up the continuity and the history presented within Kazooie and Tooie, and Nuts and Bolts to an extent. So it's not a bad game. Play it. It's fun.
Yeah, why would you not want it to be canon?
Anyway, Treasure Trove Cove, of course, like other worlds connected to Grunty's lair, there does seem to be some magical bleed through with like Treasure Trove Cove almost spilling out of the entrance and sort of like starting to turn part of Grunty's lair into an extension of itself, which I always love that visual effect in Grunty's lair.
Same. It's awesome. I love, even just that little area with like the 2 ships facing it, like a doorway in one of the ships leading out into the lair. It's awesome. Yeah,
it's really, really cool. And I love how the Jiggy gets fired out of a cannon once you hit the witch switch.
Yeah, me too. I do enjoy that.
So yeah, Gruntilda, given that she took over the mountain above Spiral Mountain in 1978, according to Grunty's Revenge, is one reason why people should play it. It tells you that.
Yeah, this is what you're missing out on.
Given that she took it over in 78, she seems to then be using Treasure Trove Cove. I mean, she uses all the worlds for her own personal wants and vainglorious reasons. Like Mad Monster Mansion, she uses it to shit in.
That's a good thing to use a mansion for, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I would have done. I would have maybe just like lived in it.
She also seems to use Dingpot as her ad hoc shitter. So she's not like picky about where she does it, but she seems to love dumping in anthropomorphic objects.
Yeah, she makes the most of things.
She likes an audience. Sometimes, you're a bit of an exhibitionist. You want people watching. And that can be talking about the DKU in our case, or it can be emptying your bowels in her case.
Yeah, you know what? Like any of you out there are so perfect, you're here judging Gruntilda for making people watch her shit.
Yeah. Think about that next time you cast that first stone.
Yeah. Shame on you.
Shame on all of you. Gruntilda did nothing wrong except for all of the wrong things she in fact did.
Yeah, you could cancel Gruntilda for so many other things, but she's just not a good person.
I know we were making jokes about, Gruntilda is kind of mean-spirited when we were talking about the Super Pocket Rare Edition, and yeah, like, you can kind of get a read that Gruntilda was pushed into the way she is because of what a heinous sister Gruntilda is, but, like, actually looking at her actions within the games, that doesn't excuse them.
No, Gruntilda's pretty bad.
She's pretty heinous. I mean, she straight up murders her other two sisters. So
she murders bottles. She does a lot of murdering, and that's
she
usually
does do a lot of
frowned upon.
murdering. She does do a lot of killing, and even abductions aren't really a positive thing in these days.
Yeah, it's not something people look upon fondly.
Honestly, in 1998, people didn't like child abductions either.
Right, but she is good at rhyming, though. You got to give her that.
She is. Well, I would say she's good at rhyming, but also looking at some of her rhymes, she's pretty shit at that.
Yeah, she's trying, though.
Some of those rhymes are a big stretch. I'm like, wow, you wouldn't have said that if you weren't trying to rhyme it.
Right, maybe something that when she wrote it down, it seemed like it rhymed, but then you say it out loud and it's like, that doesn't really work.
I mean, if she's freestyling, okay, fair play.
Yeah.
I mean,
I couldn't come up with that.
She's almost as good of a lyricist as the DK rappers.
Right, almost. I mean, I would probably buy her album, but it's more brand loyalty than anything.
Let's get back to Treasure Trove Cove, because Porygon Q says, I think this may be the best level in a video game, to be honest. And yeah, Gruntilda uses it to kind of bury her treasure. She kind of uses it as a little stash away for valuables. Now, she doesn't do a good job of it, but she does, like to keep some gold there, like the Austin Powers nemesis Goldmember.
He does love gold.
He does love gold, and so does Gruntilda. And Treasure Trove Cove is populated by several baddies who, most of these we do see later on in other worlds. Well, most of these, maybe half of them, we see later on in other worlds. But, they might be indigenous to Treasure Trove Cove. Like, I don't know if this is where they started out or if Gruntilda like seeded them there. It's kind of hard to say because we don't know the full extent of Klungo's monster army and how many of these are genetically engineered beach critters. I would say the shrapnels probably, but as far as the snippets and yum-yums, I don't know. They might actually just be from this region.
Yeah, snippets and yum-yums strike me as local fauna, but shrapnels, yeah, those are probably placed, lockups probably put there to seal some treasure away.
For those who don't know, snippets are the little crabs that scurry around, and they break apart in a horrifying fashion. When you
they really do. They just break
them
into pieces. You really kill them.
Of course, we see snippets later on in Clanker's Cavern. We see the mutant snippies or the mutie snippets. But the snippets, I would say, are like the main baddies, but Yum Yums are the ones I absolutely hate.
Yes, they're very annoying.
They are little clams or oysters. I'm terrible at discerning the difference, but they've got these horrifying eye stalks. And they chase you and jump around, and they can like jump up on the boxes that, like, if you're scaling boxes to get up higher on Treasure Trove Cove and a Yum Yum spots you, the Yum Yum will jump up the boxes to chase you. And I'm like, get away from me.
Oh, Hyle, you can't tell me you if a Yum Yum came up to you, you wouldn't give it a little kiss on the shell.
No, because they would steal my eggs.
They would steal your eggs, probably your wallet too.
They're called Yum Yums because they actually take items from Banjo and Kazooie.
And they eat them. Can you believe it?
They apparently eat them. And I guess that makes sense for eggs, but what are you doing with the feathers?
Don't eat feathers. Come on.
Yum Yums are horrible, and I hate them. And in fact, if it wasn't for the most infamous enemy in Treasure Trove Cove, I would say Yum Yums would be far more derided than they actually are.
Oh, for sure. Things looking up for Yum Yum since there's always someone worse.
I think the 2030s will be the decade of the Yum Yum.
It's finally going to be their time. They'll get a big comeback game. We'll get Yum Yum events. They'll probably make it into Smash Brothers.
Yeah, you know how Buzz Bombs got a lot of shine thanks to Super Smash Brothers Ultimate really raising their profile?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. It has to happen for Yum Yums eventually, right?
Right. You know what, Hyle? I'm going to make a prediction. I'm going to go beyond that and say they will be playable in Smash Brothers next.
It's going to be just a specific Yum Yum, though. It's going to be like this singular Yum Yum, Yvonne the Yum Yum. And
oh, that's better. I was going to say Trevor.
No, you got to have alliteration. Yvonne the Yum Yum.
Yeah, Yvonne is better.
And she's, going to just be a Yum Yum who makes it into Smash Brothers for some reason.
Unfortunately, she dies in one hit and doesn't respawn, so
she's deleted.
Not great in the meta.
She's deleted from the roster forever after the fact.
But hey, that couple seconds you got were pretty fun, right?
Yeah, all references to her are also deleted from the game. Spirits, trophies, doesn't matter. And you're just going to question whether or not she was ever actually there to begin with.
No one will believe you.
Shrapnels, the aforementioned shrapnels, are the floating googly-eyed mines that blow up upon impact. They chase you a little bit, but they are mostly populating the rock pools, the cascading rock pools up the side of Treasure Trove Cove. So
they don't bother you that much, since if you just swim below them, if you go anywhere that is not on the plane they're on, they just can't get you.
You can also fire eggs at them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they're far more annoying elsewhere, but in Treasure Trove Cove, they're not so bad. And then there are lockups, which are the anthropomorphic treasure chest that surrounds the beach and various nooks and crannies in Treasure Trove Cove. And in fact, Gruntilda has one Jiggy inside a lockup that she really flips out when you collect it.
Yeah, she probably shouldn't have left it, out in the open, like the most obvious one.
Maybe you should lock the treasure chest and not just say, well, it has teeth. So the fact that it constantly has to open its mouth to cough or whatever, it's fine because those teeth are kind of sharp and somebody would have to do a pretty high jump to get into it.
But who would do that?
There's even a little hole to, lock it. So, they're called lockups. Maybe you should fucking lock it then. It's her fault, really.
She should have tried this again later. I think she could have gotten, fool her once. She forgets to lock it. Banjo and Kazooie get the Jiggy. That should be enough for Grunty to say, okay, you know what? The next one, I think I'll lock it.
It is a weird moment in the game, though, because there are so few jiggies, especially once you get into the groove of the game, where everything just stops and, like, you're admonished for collecting it. And so that did play a part in stop and swap theories for a time, where we, like, questioned, wait, were we not supposed to get this jiggy? Like, does this jiggy then stop us from advancing in like getting stop and swap? Because Gruntilda says like the game will be harder for you from that point on. So there's also the theory that maybe like the difficulty of Banjo-Kazooie as a whole is dialed down a little bit if you skip that jiggy.
That's wild. That's really getting into the weeds of theories.
It wasn't my theory. That was just a popular theory for a while, back before people could easily data mine a game, you know.
Right. I miss those days.
I miss those days too, quite honestly. I love when mysteries felt like mysteries and something like a video game felt like this real location that was being presented to us, but we couldn't see beyond the confines of the veil, you know?
Yeah, now it's just day one, the entire game is data mined. Oh yeah, that's nothing. Don't worry about it.
I mean, it's no wonder games have to be continually updated just so little perverts can't sneak behind the curtain.
Yeah, I mean, even then, you know, if the game gets updated, people are gonna know, people are gonna notice, they're gonna look into it. I guess you could do something where it's like you hide something in a bigger patch and just don't mention it in patch notes, and then people just have to like stumble upon it later. That might be a good way to do something.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe people can just mind their own business.
Hey, take that, everyone.
I say this as the person who jumped into a lockup to take Gruntilda's treasure.
Yeah, everyone else do it, though. Everyone else mind your own business. I'm going to do this.
It's a collectathon. I have to collect everything. I'm sorry.
Yeah. As if you're also perfect.
There's also Little Lockup, which I guess is more secure.
Yeah, but it trades in the fun eyes. That's the trade-off.
Little Lockup does have eyes in its little talking head, right? In one of the versions?
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
The model doesn't, but I guess the icon does.
The model is just a smaller golden treasure chest that, like, surfs around the sand, and I don't know, I was always intrigued by Little Lockup, considering it's just a character, it's just a separate character, and it's an individual character, like Yvonne the Yum Yum would be. And I don't know, like, the whole, like, Little Lockup quest, for those who don't know, you have to fly around Treasure Trove Cove and look for the big red X's, and then stomp on the X's, and then another X will appear, and then you stomp on one, the penultimate one, and then it's just like, ooh, we're not telling you where the next one is, and it's just right underneath you. But it's like it's on the little islet just off to the side there. But then you stomp on that, and a Little Lockup pops out, and it's just like sliding all around, and you just have to break it. But
it has its few seconds of fame, and then you kill it to death.
But again, it's very memorable, Little Lockup.
Yeah.
The fact that I remember its name to this very day, even though, I just replayed Banjo-Kazooie, but I would remember Little Lockup even if I stopped playing it after the summer of 98.
Right, that's a character that sticks with you.
Well, speaking of characters sticking with you, or sticking on you, or biting into you and hanging on, let's talk about Snacker the Shark.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, Hyle, my little knees are quaking together.
Well, why are you so scared, Dustin? Why are you scared of Snacker the Shark?
Oh, you know what? I guess I shouldn't be, because I'm not in the water of Treasure Trove Cove.
You're not. And I don't, and like, unless you're in the water of Treasure Trove Cove or in that one little pool in Rusty Bucket Bay, you don't really have to worry about Snacker the Shark.
Yeah, he's pretty confined. But once that music kicks in, You're more scared than you've ever been of anything in your life, from what I hear.
Yeah, Grant Kirkhope's Jaws ripoff music, just the off-key, dun-dun-dun-dun. But, yeah, Snacker, of course, is the famous shark that whenever you enter the surrounding waters of Treasure Trove Cove, Snacker will kind of teleport in, and he'll usually regale you with some sort of cheeky comment about how he's going to eat you. He likens you to cheese and crackers or coffee and mince. And he's like, oh boy, your ass is going to taste sweet across my tongue.
Yeah, I like that about Snacker. Lots of games have a mechanic like this, something to keep you out of the water. Like I think about how Ratchet and Clank and Jak and Daxter, those are, if you're in the water too long, a fish will just come up and eat you. But they're just kind of generic fish. I like that Snacker has dialogue and a personality. He's a character instead of just a hazard.
I think it's the taunting that makes him especially scary, because I'm not as frightened by him in Rusty Bucket Bay, or I wasn't as frightened by him in Rusty Bucket Bay, because it was more of a jump scare because you weren't expecting him. But I think the Treasure Trove Cove just being belittled and feeling like, yeah, this shark isn't going to give up until he chomps into me and I'm dead. I just like, it's the extra like twist of the knife where he's just talking about having dessert, and dessert is you. Of course, you can temporarily defeat Snacker if you pelt him with eggs or whatever, but it's really not worth the effort considering he will return in short order. So it's basically just... Right,
but it's still cool you get to do it, though.
Yeah.
I remember when I figured it out, I was like, whoa, you can do that?
Yeah. And Snacker really gave me a time on the Super Pocket Rare Edition version, just because I do think he's a little bit quicker. And also...
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any N64 lag that is not accounted for, but I also was just struggling with the swimming controls at that stage in Banjo-Kazooie on the Super Pocket, just because swimming with the D-pad took a while to get the hang of, and I got better as time went on. I think Clanker's Cavern really helped in that regard. But yeah, Snacker really made a meal out of me for the first time in my life.
Hey, you know what, Hyle? It makes you stronger. You came out the other end.
I came out his other end.
Hey.
I used to think, given that, Snacker, he later reappears in Rusty Bucket Bay, so it's oh, Gruntilda must have, deputized him, and, maybe even imbued him with the teleportation abilities he has. Because given that this is a game full of magical characters, either antagonist or allies, having a shark teleport in and out, it's well, that might not just be a video game mechanic. That might actually be something this shark can do, because, well, a witch let him do it.
A witch let him do it.
A witch
That's all
let
the
him do it.
explanation you need. No, I like that a lot. I like that. I like the idea that Gruntilda's watching the whole time, and every level Gruntilda's just kind of watching Banjo progress, and she sees this shark just really tear the shit out of Banjo, and Gruntilda likes that so much, she's like, you know what, you can be an official part of my cause, what do you say? And then she can teleport him into a small oily pool of water.
It's hey, Snacker, would you like a change of scenery? It's yeah, I would love a change of scenery. And that's Snacker's voice. And Gruntilda said, all right, here you go. And then she just dumps him in Rusty Bucket Bay. And then Gruntilda's defeated and Snacker is still in Rusty Bucket Bay.
Yeah, he has to sit in his oil pool. I think that's a fitting punishment.
Yeah, I was I guess Snacker has just been turned into this official part of Grunty's monster army. However, the interesting thing, and this is another Sea of Thieves connection, the sharks in Sea of Thieves also teleport in and out like Snacker does. Now, that's just a obvious video game mechanic, right? Like,
Right.
you can't just have sharks always existing within the waters. As sharks appear when you've been in the water for a certain amount of time. I don't know the actual, like, randomization factor of it, but if you're in the water in Sea of Thieves long enough, a shark might appear, and maybe two sharks will appear, but you can actually see them kind of fade into existence, and then given enough time, they will fade out if you don't defeat them. So
just like Snacker.
So maybe Gruntilda, even though I do think she did sort of knight him, I don't know if she actually gave him that power, or Snacker is just part of a lineage of sharks from the Sea of Thieves who have that ability. Like, maybe we know the Shrouded Ghost swallowed part of a shroud breaker, and that's how the Shrouded Ghost can seemingly, like, come and go. Maybe the little sharks have something similar going on.
Yeah, I could see that. I still have never seen a shrouded ghost.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dust. I'm sorry you weren't playing with us the day we encountered one.
I know. I'm still kicking myself to this day.
I'm just making connections between games. I'm like, isn't it interesting? In this one rare DKU game, the sharks blip in and out of existence, just like in this rare DKU game.
It's interesting.
I wonder if there's a connection. By the way, speaking of Snacker, we also have some additional Snacker lore. That's right, everybody. It's time for additional Snacker lore. Burr, 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 burr.
Ooh, sound the alarm.
Ring the bell. Ding, 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 ding. Snacker.
We don't get to ring the Snacker bell super often.
So this comes to us in Viva Pinata Trouble in Paradise, because you can obtain a shark tooth necklace in that game, and the description explains that it comes from Snacker. Like, the tooth comes from Snacker because a Fizzly Bear traveled to Treasure Trove Cove and punched him in the face.
Wow. That's probably fine. Sharks have, like, tons of teeth, right? They have, like,
need
multiple
all of
rows.
them.
Yeah, he's fine. He can give some up.
So yeah, I like that I guess caught up with Snacker a little bit and learned that a Fizzly Bear punched him.
I love it. I love that little... I like that makes for, like, a little legend, a little story you can tell in the DKU. I mean, once upon a time, there was a Fizzly Bear who punched the shit out of a Snacker and stole a tooth.
Viva Pinata, both of them are filled with that kind of stuff. These little...
Yeah.
Bon mots of the DKU legends and lore, where you've, like, learned that a certain character visited Pinata Island, or a character from Pinata Island went elsewhere in the Rare Archipelago.
Yeah, like Kazooie stole bottles, glasses, and started selling them over on on Pinata Island.
Yeah. I like how...
What a mean thing to do.
Pinata Island is just where the characters go when they want to be absolute shitbags.
I stole this from someone, and now I'm here to sell it to you.
It's like how the wealthy use the Cayman Islands to hide their money.
It's exactly that. Viva Pinata, or Pinata Island, is the equivalent of that.
Yeah. So let's talk about Nipper.
Okay, I could talk about Nipper.
Yeah, Nipper is the closest thing, I guess, to a boss in Treasure Trove Cove, considering Banjo-Kazooie doesn't really have traditional bosses, but then there's something that could be argued is a boss for almost every world.
Yeah, it's not really presented as a boss, but if you're stretching, if you're trying to make the argument, you could say Nipper kind of sort of counts.
Yeah, Nipper is an enormous, monstrous hermit crab who seems to take pride in his desolate beach. This little corner of Treasure Trove Cove, and he's like, this is my beach.
This little corner of the whole island.
This little sad... dumpy stretch of sand that has no vegetation or anything remarkable about it. This is mine.
He sees, like, anyone in the distance walking by and he says, you get away from here. Yeah, and that's what I thought.
You kind of peck at him a little bit and then
Yeah, you peck at him 3 times, and then he just recedes.
He recedes. What the fuck is his deal? He recedes into his shell, and he, like, disappears?
Yeah, you just don't see him in there. I kind of wish he was just in there being like, okay, just take my gold, whatever.
What? He's in there, but he's, like, completely nude, and he's, like, shrunk in size to this just, like, pathetic state.
Oh, that would have been a fun gag. Have Nipper, but he's like wearing like the boxer shorts with the hearts or something.
Yeah, maybe anchors in his case.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah,
we should have made Banjo-Kazooie.
We honestly, those hacks at Rare don't have half the good ideas we have.
I know that I've been saying that for the last minute.
Yeah, I don't understand where the hell Nipper goes other than a witch did it, which is, I guess, my go-to for anything in Banjo-Kazooie that doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess I can buy that.
Because you explore his shell, and if he's a hermit crab, I guess he can just go to another shell. And of course, Nipper is back whenever you re-enter Treasure Trove Cove, so I don't know, like, how truly gone Nipper is.
Maybe he's just really good at hiding.
Yeah, I guess, like, his monstrous size, it might be he's been juiced thanks to Gruntilda magic, and that's why he's feeling so cocky about his beach. He's like, I can just claim this for myself, and all the other normal-sized hermit crabs can't do a damn thing about it. And it just takes 3 pecks for the magic to wear off.
It's not a great spell.
It's not a good spell. Gruntilda is kind of a shit witch at times. And I don't know. In the DK Vine Inner Circle, Fear Navigator asked if we would bring up the fact that Nipper's shell is counterclockwise outside, but clockwise inside.
Holy shit, I never noticed that before. Boy, I really hope somebody got fired for that blunder.
So I'm thinking, right, it's part of the spell. And to make him giant, Gruntilda did this time warp inside the shell, and I don't have anything. It's like a TARDIS from off of the Doctor Who, where it's like bigger on the inside, but in this case it's reversed on the inside, similar to how in Banjo-Pilot all the reverse tracks are under Gruntilda's purview, so she uses her magic to reverse it. So I guess she's using the similar magic inside Nipper, and part of that was enabling him to temporarily be large.
Wow, it really is a witch did it.
I mean, look, nobody complains in Lord of the Rings when a wizard did it. Wizards are always doing shit in those Lords of the Rings. They're always making stuff disappear and falling off high things and then coming back later and saying, I did die, but I'm better now. And
yeah, don't worry about it.
Why can't witches do that? Or shamans? I mean...
Yeah, a witch can make a hermit crab shell go opposite.
We know she has that power. Banjo-Pilot established it. Everybody's favorite canonical Banjo-Kazooie entry, Banjo-Pilot, firmly established she has reversey powers.
Yeah, you know what? You go inside Nipper and it's just, he has a mirror mode shell.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is.
That's all it is. No need to ask questions about it, everyone.
I don't mind if people ask questions about the Salty Hippo, though, because the Salty Hippo is one of the central locations in Treasure Trove Cove. It's the shipwreck that you find Captain Blubber on. And here's a little Sea of Thieves trivia for you, Dustin. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'll get through it.
Okay. The Salty Hippo was the name of a ship in the Twisted Knife, which was an alliance of bounty hunters detailed in the Tales from the Sea of Thieves book, the first piece of Sea of Thieves expanded universe literature we got. It came out when the game was released. It's presented as this in-universe ship ledger that's been passed from crew to crew. And in one account written by Diving Bell, they encountered the Twisted Knife, a group of bounty hunters who were after a treasure they had on their ship, and they were hired to take them out, and they sunk a ship called the Salty Hippo.
I completely forgot about that. I have that book, and I know I read it before. That just completely slipped my mind.
Yeah. So it's probably not the same Salty Hippo, but the Salty Hippo as it exists within Banjo-Kazooie, I don't think we get to actually see the full thing, because it is kind of marooned in the cove of Treasure Trove Cove and just completely wedged in the sand.
Yeah, how do you do it this bad? Like, it's complete, like the sand is like coming up over it, over the side?
I think in the player's guide, the Nintendo Power Player's Guide for Banjo-Kazooie, they actually say Captain Blubber is an incompetent pirate.
I mean, that makes sense. Just look at him.
He has just demolished it, but I don't think we have a full view of the Salty Hippo as it exists in a non-marooned state, because in Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts in Banjo-Land, we get to see a little bit more of the Salty Hippo if it didn't have sand, like, smushing it. Because in Banjo-Kazooie, it's got one mast. And in Banjo-Land, you can see two masts. And you also see the figurehead. Now, this is just a recreation of the Salty Hippo, but I don't see any reason why this couldn't be a more accurate recreation of what the Salty Hippo would look like before Blubber just completely fucked it up, even though it is presented in a shipwreck state in Banjo-Land. It's got a golden hippo figurehead on the front.
Yeah, I mean, it's recreating something. I'd have to imagine this is just how it normally looks.
Right, because we also don't see any sails on the Salty Hippo in Treasure Trove Cove. There's the rigging you can go up, but there is no sail. And so I think it's a brigantine by Sea of Thieves logic. I just think it's been completely fucked to hell.
I wonder who his crew was, because you need 3 people on the brigantine, don't you,
You
Hyle?
at least need another person, because the brigantine is a long, long man. It is like a big bowling alley, the best bowling ever on any ocean.
You know what? I hope if the opportunity ever comes up and Captain Blubber's in another game, I want to see his crew. I want to see his friends.
Well, we did see his friends, actually, Dustin.
Oh! Right.
Captain Blubber, of course, debuted in Banjo-Kazooie. He later reappeared in Banjo-Tooie and Banjo-Kazooie Nuts and Bolts, but Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge. Yes, we're talking about Grunty's Revenge again. I feel, why do I need to explain myself? Every time I'm like, yes, we're talking about Sea of Thieves again. Yes, we're talking about Grunty's Revenge again. It's like,
Don't freak out. It's only for a little bit.
I'm sorry, everybody. We're talking about Donkey Kong Country again on the Kongversation.
I was going to say, if they're listening to this show, they probably want this. They want the delicious Grunty's Revenge juices seeping out of it.
We're squeezing Grunty's Revenge dry is what we're doing, and your thirsty, thirsty mouth is taking every last drop of moisture.
Exactly. They're going to have they sink their teeth into the delicious fruit that is Grunty's Revenge.
See, I was imagining it just stanky, dirty water from an old rag.
Oh, interesting. I was thinking a beautiful peach that you sink your teeth into and suck the juices out of.
No, I was thinking like brown water.
That's good too, I guess.
Brown water that kind of tastes like metallic-y, like it has a rust in it.
I'm salivating already.
So Captain Blubber, he does appear in Grunty's Revenge, but he doesn't appear in the present day context, because Grunty's Revenge, of course, sees Banjo and Kazooie time travel 20 years in the past. Grunty's Revenge takes place around like late August or early September 1998, and then they time travel 20 years in the past to 1978, and you encounter a young Captain Blubber on Breagle Beach. And Captain Blubber is part of this little club of hippos called the Pirate Scouts.
The Pirate Scouts, how adorable.
Like the Boy Scouts, but they're pirates. And so Captain Blubber is like, you want to join the Pirate Scouts? You've got to beat us in this little mini game.
They really are the Huey, Dewey, and Louie of the time.
I think the Huey... Is it Louie?
Well, Louie's the green.
Okay. I honestly couldn't remember if it was Louie or Spewy.
Spewy, the duck nephew who, I'll let you guess what his character trait was.
I was like, Huey, Spewy, and Louie sounds right to me. But again, as just Andre pointed out, I kind of eschewed Disney media as a kid.
Right. So it's understandable that you would think it's Huey, Gooey, and Spewy.
Oh, now I just want them to introduce more ducks like Kongs. Just keep introducing relatives.
Gluey, he eats paste.
Yeah.
Yeah. Possibilities are endless.
So long as you have your rhyming dictionary at hand, the possibilities are limitless.
You can get at least like maybe 7.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Captain Blubber like always aspired to be a pirate, even though he is, according to Nintendo Power, absolutely terrible at it. And
I love that he sticks to his passions.
You know, I like to think, given our theories or my theories that I'm forcing upon you about Breagle Beach and Treasure Trove Cove and the Devil's Shroud, maybe he just got the salty hippo and tried to sail away from Breagle Beach, hit the Devil's Shroud, reached Treasure Trove Cove, and just crashed because his ship was just sinking already.
It was day one.
Like
his first day of pirating, and this is how it turns out.
So yeah, like I wonder if Blubber discovered the salty hippo shipwreck and like found the nameplate, or maybe it was like a legendary lost ship and he decided to repurpose the name for his own ship because he is a hippo on the salty water.
What do you know? I'm a hippo. It's like fate.
Now, it is bad luck. It is considered like a bad omen to name your ship after another ship that has been lost at sea. Superstitious sailors do not do that traditionally. But again, Captain Blubber canonically is terrible at it. So it kind of does add up that he would just completely spit in the face of tradition, name his ship after a ship that already was sunk like centuries ago, and then just crash very early in his piratical career.
Yeah, he had no idea. He just thought he was doing something cool.
He clearly lost interest in it, though, after that, because he did have treasure aboard. It's not like he was completely empty-handed in his pirating career. But the treasure, I question it because he's got 2 piles of 6 gold bars each.
Yeah.
And the gold bars can talk. Their little icons have the googly eyes, similar to a lot of the other, like, first-time collectibles you collect in Banjo-Kazooie. It will talk to you like, I'm Mr. Jiggy.
Yeah.
So, you know, it does question, like, how sentient these items actually are at all times, if they can talk to you, or if this is just a one and done. Like, you collected something that has the googly eyes attached to it, so therefore it can talk to you, unlike the other versions of the eggs and feathers and jiggies and whatnot.
Yeah, I imagine it is like a Betty Boop sort of thing, where something will come alive for just to fulfill that one purpose and say something to you, or react in a cartoonish way to like a cat dancing or something, and then go back to being an inanimate object.
Just like Betty Boop is a dog who becomes Flapper?
Yeah, exactly like that.
Okay. I was just like, I'm trying to see the correlation between Betty Boop here. And
I mean how in a lot of Betty Boop cartoons, like objects in the world will just come alive for a scene.
Oh, see, I didn't know
like
that.
A face will pop up on them. Yeah, like it'll show like outside, and it's a row of houses, and then a house will come alive and be like, ah, and then go back to being not alive.
I hate that.
Yeah, I think that's the exact same.
That world sounds like a nightmare to live in.
Oh, yeah, it is. Don't worry.
It's why I'm not running a Betty Boop website.
That's the one reason.
It was touch and go there for a while. I was like, well, it's between...
I just can't deal with these living houses and shit.
It's between Donkey Kong Country and Banjo-Kazooie or Betty Boop. Those are my only two options. I was late. I was late that day when I went to sign up for fan sites, and those are the two that were left.
Oh, geez, Donkey Kong or Betty Boop, how can I choose? Well, I don't love the objects coming alive and having eyes and talking, but if I stick with Donkey Kong, I think I can avoid that.
Yeah, and then Diddy Kong Racing gave me Banjo-Kazooie.
Whoops.
So
I do like that Captain Blubber is just by far one of the most recurring Banjo-Kazooie characters.
Yeah.
He shows up. Does he show up in Pilot at all as like one of the characters in just jumping around?
on the trampoline track. No, he actually doesn't. He doesn't put in any appearances in Banjo-Pilot. I don't think he's in the crowd, like in the podium.
Right. Okay. So it's not a perfect attendance record, but I think as far as Banjo-Kazooie characters go, he has. He is one of the ones that shows up the most. I think he's in every other game.
He has an outsized presence in Nuts and Bolts.
Yeah. Like they just decided, you know what? You're going to be one of the guys to come with us this game.
Like, I feel like he and Jolly Roger are two characters who were just promoted beyond their stature as originally presented.
Yeah, and we love that. They're both wonderful characters to keep around.
We do. So yeah, like Captain Blubber does leave Treasure Trove Cove eventually, and I guess he goes through the portal and goes through Grunty's lair and goes down in a spiral mountain. He eventually settles in Jolly Roger's lagoon for a while.
Yeah, I like that. I like that he's a hippo that gets around as long as it's beaches and pirate towns.
Yeah. Luckily, he's got plenty of options for that in the DKU. Yeah. So there are a couple more characters I want to discuss, but they're tied to specific landmarks. So I would like to quickly address a couple of other prominent architectural features on Treasure Trove Cove. Let's talk about the lighthouse on the very top.
I love that lighthouse.
It's a very, very nice lighthouse. It's seemingly a relatively modern lighthouse. It's not archaic. We don't really see it in action because we never visit Treasure Trove Cove at night, but it looks pretty of the time of the 20th century.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm not out here comparing lighthouses, but it looks modern enough.
Yeah, you're not necessarily like studying lighthouses in your spare time. You've got too many Betty.
That's my other podcast.
You've got too many Betty Boop cartoons to get through, generally speaking.
That's true. I just don't have the time to be doing lighthouses.
So yeah, like between that and the spiraling tower and the stonework on the rock pools with the shrapnels that go up the side of the island, it does make me wonder if it's an indication that humans have reached Treasure Trove Cove. We know they have in some limited capacity thanks to Sea of Thieves, but were these built by humans? Because they do remind me of some of the stonework in Sea of Thieves. And were these structures built up by maroon pirates or during brief attempts at settling Treasure Trove Cove, and then it was just abandoned as time went on?
I can't be living on this island with with all these clams bouncing around.
These yum-yums keep taking my eggs.
Fuck it, I'm out of here.
Do you know how much eggs cost nowadays? And every time we buy a carton of them, and then a yum-yum comes along?
What, you think you can just find eggs up in the trees?
I mean, in this world, you kind of can, but it's still a real pain. It's still a real pain when the yum-yums come chomping around. And it's not even the eggs you have on hand. It's you have your breakfast, you have your scrambled eggs with the toast, and then a couple of hours later, a yum-yum comes along, and then all of a sudden, you no longer have those scrambled eggs inside of you.
And now they belong to the yum. That's why they call them yum-yums, because they eat the scrambled eggs and they go yum-yum.
I mean, that is why they're called yum-yums, because they eat.
Yeah.
They eat your shit, Dustin.
I know. You no need to tell me, Hyle.
I imagine that any settlers, be they pirates or Grand Maritime Union employees, quickly fucked out of Treasure Trove Cove when they realized that they were just going to get yummed.
It's clams and crabs every day. Clams and crabs.
Right. Yeah. So it's like their yucks were definitely yummed, and they had to move on, but they left behind some interesting algae covered stones all the same.
Yeah, at least we made this big stone tower with a spiral path leading up to the top that doesn't do anything or go anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it had a purpose, or it's going to have a purpose. It was going to be a big fort. Yeah. It was going to probably have cannons on it, and they were going to fire at ships as they came in, but then
now a big red X shows up on it.
Yeah. Now Little Lockup uses it for its duplicitous hiding games.
So just as good, really.
The sandcastle, though, is probably the most infamous location on Treasure Trove Cove. The sandcastle, which is usually in this flooded lagoon in Treasure Trove Cove, and it's presided over by Leaky the Pale.
The best Banjo-Kazooie character.
We all know Leaky. We all love Leaky. Probably because we have to visit Leaky like a dozen times, especially when we're on a stop and swap stroll. So,
right.
What I love about Leaky is it's very clearly a kid's pail, a bucket that they bring to the beach to like just dig in the sand and put sand in the bucket and then dump the sand from the bucket. I never really understood the whole mechanics behind the shovel and pail, but it's also got googly eyes attached to him, and he is a living bucket, and he's got a hole in him, though.
There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza.
And, Leaky's never looking for a permanent solution to this hole. He's like, patch me. But you just wedge a couple of eggs in him, which, let me tell you, that's not going to create a permanent seal.
No.
No.
If a seal at all.
No. It's just going to temporarily make him feel like nothing can get through those eggs, but then he shifts ever so slightly, or a fucking yum-yum comes along, and then he's going to be leaking again. But
life is leaky as hell.
Yeah, for whatever reason, Leaky can control the water levels around the sandcastle in the little lagoon, the little pocket of water in the sandcastle. I don't know how Leaky has this ability and how it's tied to whether or not water spills out of his body.
Well, Hyle, I just thought of something just now I had never thought of before. Yeah. What if Leaky the Bucket is the guardian of the sandcastle cheat code room, and only those pure of heart can enter. Those who plug the hole inside of them and prove that they are noble. And then he lowers the water and allows them in because he knows they won't enter evil cheat codes.
Leaky is like the old knight in Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade, where like he's the last guardian of this sacred holy site, and only those who can pass the test, the trials, can have access to it. In this case, putting 2 eggs in his body.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Now that kind of elevates Leaky a little bit. Maybe there's a little something more to him.
Maybe there is a little bit something more to this character. Maybe he's the next breakout character, just like Captain Blubber and Jolly Roger were promoted, and Yvonne the Yum Yum will be in the next Super Smash Brothers game. Maybe Leaky the Bucket. I would say 2040s.
Next in line.
The 2040s will be the decade of Leaky.
Right, your kids are gonna love it.
They're really going to be all about. They're going to be doing the Leaky dance. It's going to be something they're going to be doing online in the 2040s.
The Leaky dance TikTok. Now that TikTok takes over the entire internet, and that's all people are doing is the Leaky dance.
It's not going to be TikTok in the 2040s, but it's going to be some other kind of social media site, app, whatever. Like whatever exists in 20 years. And yeah, kids will be like leaking water. They'll be through various means. They'll have water spilling out of their bodies, and then they're like wiggling around, and then they shove 2 eggs inside their mouth, and then they stop leaking, and that's the Leaky dance.
Yeah, you see the water lower, and now you can go in the sandcastle and enter your little cheats.
Yeah. People are going to be doing it in movie theaters. They're just going to stand up and start leaking all over the place. And the adults
and everyone
are going to be...
goes nuts for it.
No, the kids are going to be cheering, and the adults are going to be like getting security because they're just done.
They just don't get it.
They're just done with this leaky shit. Like so many services are being ruined because everybody wants to go viral with their unique Leaky dance.
They look at the camera and say, grown-ups just don't understand.
Yeah, that's something they'll be saying in 2046. Just you wait.
Just you wait.
So yeah, Leaky, though, drains the pool, and then you can actually enter the sandcastle sans water on the tiles. And let's talk about the black snippet. The singular snippet that's black and red, and he is seemingly imprisoned within the sandcastle. What is his deal?
I like him. I like this guy. The black and red colors just go... He basically is the original Shadow the Hedgehog, if you think about it.
Oh, I was thinking he was a Virtual Boy character that has somehow gotten on the N64 by mistake.
Yeah, that too, probably.
He reminds me of like a character like the jailed Thwomp in Bowser's Castle in Mario Kart 64. Like,
right.
Why are you behind bars? What did you do?
What have you done?
And what is the greater mystery behind you? Especially considering how venerated the sandcastle would become in Banjo-Kazooie Legends and Lore. The black snippet is another character who you look at and you're like, do you serve a greater purpose?
Yeah, if Gruntilda, if he was a minion of Gruntilda, she would probably just like leave him in there and say, okay, kill them when they come in. There's like no puzzle, just kill them. But no, he's locked in prison for whatever crime he committed.
I mean, it might have just been unauthorized use of the sandcastle, and Leaky locked him up.
Oh, maybe there was like a trap in there, and the black snippet got caught in the trap.
Yeah, maybe like I don't know, a character who is like finds a pie, and he picks up the pie, and then a cage lands on him.
Exactly, that's exactly what I was thinking. Leaky says, no, I don't think so.
It's the like biggest scourge behind false imprisonments. It's people leaving their pastries and baked goods out to trap people under cages.
They were foolhardy. They thought they were lured in with the pie, and now they have to suffer the consequences.
So the sandcastle, of course, it's a well-known spell-casting device within Banjo-Kazooie, within the world of Banjo-Kazooie, where if you put in a specific code on the sandcastle floor, then it activates a magical spell. And in the game, it's used, or Banjo-Kazooie are directed to it by Cheeto. Presumably Gruntilda uses it for a bit. I don't know if Cheeto is like, use the sandcastle. I presume Gruntilda then does some spells on it as well. But Bottles also knows of it. Bottles being the well-traveled international man of mystery, a la Austin Powers that he is. He knows all sorts of secrets and lore about the worlds connected to Spiral Mountain and Grunty's Lair. And so he knows about the sandcastle, and he gives you various codes like turn into a fucking washing machine.
you know, Hyle, what I like about the sandcastle is I really like that it's just a place in one of the worlds. It's not like okay, you go into Grunty's lair and then you go into the cheat code chamber in Gruntilda's lair. It's just a place in a world. I think that's very cool, and Tooie does that as well. You know, with the cheat temple in Mayhem Temple. I really think it helps. I just think it's cool that it's like, this is just an area that happens to exist in this world. It's good for world building, so makes it not feel so artificial.
You're right. Yeah, it's not as like linear. It's not as like regimented or segmented as a video game.
It's not go here to put your cheats in. It's okay, you found this place in this world. Nothing special about it on the outside, but you go in and now this is somewhere you can put cheats in, and it's really cool.
I think that's also what makes it special is you have this just regular jiggy attached to it, and there's no indication that it's so much more at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as far as you know, it's just, oh, I spelled Banjo-Kazooie.
It's funny how that is often a puzzle in Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, you want to spell it backwards? Here you go.
Given the Sea of Thieves connections, I wonder if this is some sort of chamber built by the ancients to cast magical spells. Although the English alphabet might counter that because it makes it seem much more recent than the ancients would have been. But I don't know.
Well, maybe they updated it over time.
I was going to say,
made it more adaptable for modern audiences.
When Gruntilda took it over, she might have just switched out the lettering to be some sort of English translation, so it's fine.
Exactly, and I'll throw a couple extra A's and O's in there just for good measure.
I like spells with a lot of vowels.
That's her favorite kind.
And of course, with a particular code, you can raise Shark Food Island, which is just off the shore from the sandcastle. And when you first visit Treasure Trove Cove, and assuming you just play Banjo-Kazooie without any stop and swap knowledge or XBLA or Super Pocket Rare Edition add-ons, then you're never going to see it raised properly within the game itself. But it's just this mound off in the distance with a sign that says Shark Food Island. And you're like, what the hell is that? Why is that?
What the heck?
Does that mean anything? Like a lot of things as you play Banjo-Kazooie, you're like, that's weird. That should be something more. And then you find out it actually is. But Shark Food Island, when it rises up, then you actually have a doorway, and there is something valuable inside. It is the home of the pink mystery egg.
Shark Food Island is so cool to me. Like as a kid, before we all learned about how stop and swap works or was meant to work, and learning the cheat codes and stuff, you see it just in the water. There's a sign there, and it's like, oh, that's weird. What's up with that? And then if you're a naughty little boy and you put the cheat code in, you see the island is up now. And I thought that was just the coolest thing. It's like, whoa, there's this whole mysterious place I can go in now. And it's just a pillar you can hop across and get an egg. But still, it's like, even now, I think when I think about Treasure Trove Cove, Shark Food Island, I think, is the crown jewel of the world because it's just so mysterious.
I was gonna say, and then you kept talking, if you were a naughty little boy, you probably wouldn't be in Treasure Trove Cove at all. You would be in Click Clock Wood.
That's so true, Hyle. That's one of your little jokes.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite things about you.
I have like 3 jokes I come into an episode with, and I'm like, I really, really hope I can use this one.
That was a tricky one, considering we were talking about Treasure Trove Cove and not Click Clock Wood.
I mean, if it was a real tricky one, we'd be talking about Diddy Kong Racing instead.
You got a million of them, Hyle.
So yeah, I think Gruntilda must have known that Shark Food Island hid something valuable because there is a map of Treasure Trove Cove in the Rusty Bucket map room, and there is an X right where Shark Food Island is. So it's not
I love that.
It's not like she didn't know there was something valuable there, but she didn't know how to get to it.
Just little bits of world building and story building. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it was also known enough in the nautical sailing pirate community because there are portraits in Jolly's back room in Jolly Roger's Lagoon in Banjo-Tooie where you can see Treasure Trove Cove. You see just the like portrait of Treasure Trove Cove, like the archway cliff with the lighthouse on top. And then you've got a portrait of Shark Food Island raised, and you've got a portrait of the pink mystery egg hanging on the wall as well. So
that's so wild since, in retrospect, we realized Stop and Swap did not play out. So it's nothing. But like, if you're a kid going into this game and just seeing these for the first time, it's like, whoa, that's why, look at this.
Yeah. That's also why we really thought Captain Black Eye was going to do something a little bit more in Banjo-Tooie.
And then he didn't.
He's sitting in a room all by himself with all the Stop and Swap clues on the wall, and he's just like...
He doesn't give you a jiggy. You can completely avoid him.
He just falls over then, inert, for the rest of the game, and yeah.
He gives you 2 doubloons that you don't even need.
Yeah, I know. Talk about inept pirates in Banjo-Kazooie games, but
it's a running theme.
Yeah. So clearly, like, Gruntilda knew about it, other pirates knew about it, but nobody knew how to raise Shark Food Islands. Mumbo knew well enough, but
he's not telling.
No, there's some Super Pocket Rare Edition spoilers that I won't get into, but so, yeah, those are basically all of the locations in Treasure Trove Cove. However, the gang later returned there to race in Banjo-Pilot in the Jiggy Cup and Cauldron Cup. The Cauldron Cup is where Gruntilda reverses it with her nipper magic, and you go in reverse. But Treasure Trove Cove, you actually race on a new location in Treasure Trove Cove. It's on a circular sandbar just off the shore.
I wonder if this naturally showed up or if this was made specifically so they could race here.
It was raised up with witch magic.
Yeah. Grunty said, we could probably race on this with planes.
Maybe the Devil Shroud receded just enough that there was an additional sandbar out there, and they're like, hey, we can race on that now. Great. But
we call that.
It's a conceit to just allow all of the visual landmarks of Treasure Trove Cove to appear in the background without actually having to race around it because, the voxel build, they might have done that, but not in this.
Would have been neat.
Not in this build, unfortunately. But we also get it established in Banjo-Pilot that killer whales live in the waters off Treasure Trove Cove because they jump up out of the water.
I never would have guessed.
Nope. No, I wouldn't have either. But this was a carryover from Diddy Kong Pilot. They would have had killer whales jump out in various tracks there. And they were just like, good enough. Whatever. Ship it.
Whatever. It's a whale.
We've been developing this game for a half a decade now. Let's just be done with it.
Just get this out.
Surprisingly, we haven't returned to Treasure Trove Cove. And that's why I really hope...
Not yet, anyway.
That's why I really hope they do something with it in Sea of Thieves after all of this teasing, because it's one of the most iconic locations in the DKU. And it's kind of weird that we've only really been there in Banjo-Kazooie and the different iterations of Banjo-Kazooie.
It is interesting that it has a tendency to show up elsewhere, or even just elements showing up elsewhere, like the Salty Hippo. You can't say that about every stage. Like, Bubble Gloop Swamp doesn't get referenced nearly as much as Treasure Trove Cove did.
And it makes me upset, too. I want people to talk more about Tank Top.
I know. I love when he goes, ooh!
He's like, oh, my legs are cold. I don't know how to fix that. I'm a turtle.
The scream he makes when you pound on his feet has become something that's been tickling the Idaho crew over the last few months.
See, I was just imagining you tickling each other, and you're all screaming like Tank Top.
Yeah, it makes all of us happy.
Rather than laughing, you're just giving these big, exaggerated tortoise squeals, and it would just eventually really worry your neighbors, and then the authorities would be called in, thinking there was a murder happening.
Yeah, we all do the Tank Top, ooh, and then the neighbor says, sounds like someone's getting their feet drilled into over there.
That's what the kids are going to do in the 2050s. They're going to be doing the Tank Top.
The Tank Top challenge.
All right. Well, we've got several calls for Treasure Trove Cove, Dustin. Can you believe it?
Yeah. I was a little surprised to see this many calls for Treasure Trove Cove, but it's awesome. I mean, I totally get it. I love Treasure Trove Cove.
People love this world. They really do. And you can always call the DK Vine hotline by dialing 1-202-630-VINE. Do you know what Vine actually stands for on the phone, Dustin?
Oh, you couldn't pay. I haven't, actually dialed a number into a phone using letters in a long time.
No, you're too busy doing the leaky dance in movie theaters.
It'll catch on one of these days.
8463. That's what Vine is.
Yeah,
on a phone.
That's the one. That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah. So anyway, call the DK Vine hotline, leave us a message. But if it's about Treasure Trove Cove, you're a bit late. I'm sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
So let's go ahead and play our first caller.
Well, Treasure Trove Cove. Well, it ain't Jolly's Lagoon, Resort Lair, or beach, but it's a fine enough looking place. Well, of course, there's the interesting little password thing which Grunty can kill you with. But one thing is weird is Nipper, that giant enemy crab. Once you defeat him, he goes in a shell. You go inside it, he's not home. What the heck? Why is the crab dead, not in the thing? He's not dead, because he'll be right back when you defeat him. When you come back. So what gives? Did the crab get teleporting or whatever? Well. Anyways, I guess I'm going to be back to Bonanza. Elephant.
Thank you for the call. Is this caller in despair, Dustin?
They really don't like Treasure Trove Cove from the sounds of it.
The way it started off, well, Treasure Trove Cove, well, it's not this better world, or this better world,
it's no
or
beach.
This better world. It's not Beach from off of Donkey Kong Country Returns. Certainly not. I guess it's okay, though. I guess it'll do in a pinch.
I guess. But we did touch on Nipper.
We did touch upon Nipper, but now I'm feeling a little guilty that we didn't actually come up with a more concrete answer other than witchcraft, wizardry.
Well, the game doesn't give us much else. That's what we have to rely on sometimes.
But we're generally pretty good at bullshitting our way through the unexplained or the things that are left vague enough. Because we can usually pull from other games and say, well, clearly, because this also exists in the same shared world, if we correlate it, we have an answer. You can't really do that with Nipper, though, because we've never seen a hermit crab descend into itself and then vanish in this bizarrely mirrored version of its shell. It's never happened other than this.
Yeah, this is the one time that I can recall that this has happened.
Granted, I mean, I haven't really dedicated myself to Tracky Train. So if it happens in Tracky Train and Tracky Train provides an answer, I'm going to feel foolish once I find that out. And it'll be one of those things that haunts me, and I feel like I can never live down. Like the time when I said there wasn't an organic claptrap within the mechanical claptrap shells in the Planet Core in Bonanza.
That's a hard one to come back from.
Yeah, honestly, I really should have just retired then and there. I should have just given the site to Matt or something and just be like, here, you do DK Vine. I'm gonna go just.
This is a young man's game.
I'm going to live by myself like Leaky the Bucket. I'm just going to look over a little pool of water on a beach somewhere.
Maybe, hopefully, someone will put their eggs inside of me.
I'll just wait on the beach with my mouth open, hoping a sea turtle squirts them in.
Anyone?
I think the only thing we can assume is that Nipper was an ally of Gruntilda. Gruntilda's magic only lasted so long, given all the pecking that was going on. And Nipper just shrank down and scurried away in shame.
Yeah, maybe, so there is a crack in the shell when you go in, that light is pouring through. Maybe when he shrank back down, he just kind of squeezed his way through so he didn't get his ass kicked even more.
He's just squirted out.
Yeah, he squirted himself out of his shell.
Right. And he's still somewhere in Treasure Trove Cove, maybe, hiding in shame.
Yeah. I think that's easy enough to say.
Use your imagination. It's fine, you know?
Yeah, it's your fantasy.
Yeah, exactly. Just lie back and fantasize about the whereabouts of Nipper. I bet Nipper's dead, honestly. I don't know the lifespan of hermit crabs, but let's just say that Nipper died during COVID.
He was found dead on the beach of Miami in 2021.
Nipper was actually patient 0 with COVID.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Gruntilda's spell did have this little catch. It's in something like 20 years, you will then contract this respiratory disease.
Yeah, she left that part out. It didn't seem relevant at the time.
It's like a ironic genie. You cast a wish, your wish comes true, but there's a catch. Gotta read the fine print.
The catch is you get a disease 20 years later.
Yeah, which, 20 years in 1998 felt like a long time.
Yeah, you know what? Not the worst ironic twist.
All right, thank you for the call. I hope you feel better. I hope.
Thank you.
I hope Elephant Bonanza Stampede, didn't break you even further. All right, let's play our second call.
Okay.
Hi, this is Tofu calling about Treasure Trove Cove. Not my favorite world in the game. That title goes to Freezy Peak, but I still love it. I mean, I love every world in Banjo-Kazooie, but Treasure Trove Cove is great. It's got great music, great vibes, lots of fun jiggies to get. My favorite part of Treasure Trove Cove is the section with all the little platforms with shock spring pads on them that you're meant to actually use the ability and bounce from pad to pad, but you can actually just make those jumps with a feathery flap. And when you jump off the pad and start the shock spring animation, you can feathery flap out of it and Kazooie just goes, "Ah-blah-blee! Ah-blah-blee!" I don't know how well that picked up, but she kind of just makes 2 different sounds back to back, and it just tickles my ears. I love Kazooie's voice. Also, at the end of all those shock pads, you get the jiggy in that alcove that you gotta bounce up to. And from that platform, if you jump at the right angle with enough speed, you can land right on the platform with the purple Jinjo, and it's just super satisfying to make that jump. But the only gripe I have with Treasure Trove Cove, and it's not even really a problem because I get they didn't want one in every world, but I do kind of wish there was a transformation here. I mean, yes, technically you can input the bottles bonuses at the sandcastle, but you know what I mean. Again, it's not actually a big deal, but I just think it's fun to think about what transformations would be in levels that don't have them, and then I get sad that they don't exist. So, I want to know what transformation you lovely people would want to have on Treasure Trove Cove. I am picturing like a little jet ski banjo, which I know seems like more of a Tooie transformation than a Kazooie one, but I just imagine like a little challenge where you speed through rings on the water, and maybe Captain Blubber sees you and gets so inspired to get his own jet ski at the end of the game and then open his own wave racer shop in Tooie. Side question, sorry, this is kind of a tangent, but on the topic of transformations, what do you guys think happens to Kazooie when Banjo transforms? Because my headcanon has always been that they fuse together into one consciousness, and the only reason Banjo's clothes show up is because Kazooie is naked. I'm going to end the call before this devolves into cloaca talk. Bye! Have a wonderful day!
Well, thank you for the call, Tofu. We will bring up cloacas because we're legally required to do so.
Yeah, don't you worry.
The Cloaca Council signed a deal with us back back during COVID when times were tough and we had to make some extra money. They approached me and they're like, just bring up a cloaca at least 6 times a season, and we will pay you enough to keep the lights on, to keep DK Vine running.
I have to come clean. I have like a 65% stock in Cloaca Co.
We don't mention anything out of the goodness of our heart. All right. There's always a little financial motivation. There's always a little under the table action going on here. But no, thank you for the call. So yeah, Treasure Trove Cove. I have never really thought that hard about what transformation would work well in Treasure Trove Cove, because it's not...
A jet ski is a fun idea, though.
A jet ski is a fun idea, even though it is more of a Banjo-Tooie idea. That was the first thing I thought of before...
kind of more vehicle-y.
Yeah, before Tofu even brought it up. I was like, yeah, that seems more of a Humba thing than a Mumbo thing. Mm-hmm. Mumbo generally goes
more about animals.
Animals and then a gourd. But I think that... It's really hard because it's not designed around transformation, so it's kind of hard for me to think.
I'm kind of struggling to think of anything.
Like, the only thing I could think of would be some sort of nautical creature to swim, better navigate, like, to get, like, the Mumbo tokens and the honeycomb piece and everything underwater, but that doesn't really necessitate a whole transformation, so there probably have to be some sort of, like, jiggy component to it.
Do you want to know what my stupid thought was?
What's that?
When I was thinking, what could they do in this world, I thought, what if they transformed into a bird?
I think that would take away, though, from Kazooie learning how to fly in Treasure Trove.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what I was thinking. It's like, oh, what if this barren bird could become a bird?
Yeah, well, I hadn't even considered that Kazooie's already a bird. You got me there. Yeah. All right. Because, like a seagull or something, a parrot, that, it's a different type of bird.
Yeah, because the lighthouse is so high, there's a lot of going upward in this level, so I thought, like, oh, maybe a bird flying around. But yeah, exactly. Not only are you already a bird, but you learn to fly here. That wouldn't be good.
That would kind of be shit. It's like, oh, Banjo, are you feeling left out? That Kazooie can flap her wing, but here, you can become a bird for a bit.
Just completely defeat the purpose.
Like, it
Traveler
makes sense.
In the chat says a metal detector.
A metal detector.
Interesting.
That's a very Banjo-Tooie transformation. Like, that would be the kind of shit transformation. I love Tooie, but some of those transformations in Tooie aren't very exciting.
I mean, I think you could say that about Kazooie. I think transformations are kind of an idea in the Banjo series that's never really fired on all cylinders.
It's more of a Donkey Kong idea that doesn't really fit Banjo-Kazooie's style of exploration, I guess.
I feel like it's something that could be done well. Like the concept is like the potential is there, but like if I look at both Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, I don't think there's really any transformation I super love.
I like the honeybee.
The honeybee's fine, yeah, but it's a little annoying to control. It's better in Tooie, but it can be a slog just even moving around in Kazooie.
Yeah, but I like that it controls differently than Kazooie flying, and I think really most of the transformations in Banjo-Kazooie are just about getting small and fitting through holes.
TJ Gav in the chat says, I think it'd have to be a creature that can be in both water and land, like a crab or a lobster. That'd be interesting, maybe using your claws to snip at some ropes underwater or something.
I think a lobster would be good because it would be different enough from the snippets or nipper that you could then like go in like little small areas, and I'm sure it'd
maybe
be
there's like lobster
that.
Traps in the water you have to avoid.
Maybe, yeah. Or you just walk into the lobster trap to get a jiggy.
Oh, yeah. That would work.
Banjo
You're lured
fit.
In with a delicious pie.
Well, yeah, exactly. And Banjo wouldn't fit in a lobster trap to get the jiggy, so you have to make some sacrifices, don't you?
Exactly. That's what you do to get a little treat.
And as far as Tofu's final question, the eternal question of where is Kazooie when Banjo transforms, Ukulele actually did explicitly do their body merges into one idea, which I liked how they dealt with it. But in my head, Kazooie's just still in the backpack.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense, I guess.
We know she's still there because she sometimes speaks. I guess she could be like inside Banjo's body, whether he be a walrus or a termite or a pumpkin. But I don't know. I just like to think she is just in the backpack, very uncomfortable, given its new smaller
just kind of smushed in there.
Yeah, kind of smushed, yeah.
I guess there's nothing saying that can't be the case.
Yeah, so it is
Jen in the chat says, hermit crab with the backpack as the shell. That's fun.
That is fun. Maybe you would have to fight Nipper as the hermit crab, like hermit crab on hermit crab.
Just Andre says a surfboard transformation to swim across the surface of the water. Sorry, I just don't want to leave anyone in the chat out.
No, everybody has better
They're
ideas than we do. We're just like,
I don't have any. I said, what if Banjo was a bird and could fly in the level? Could you imagine?
What if he was saltwater taffy?
That would be so delicious.
He can't move because he's saltwater taffy. He just lies there.
He sticks in. Yeah, he just lies in the sand to get sand stuck to him.
Ants eventually crawl on him.
Oh, and then the ants carry you to a jiggy.
They carry you back to their mound, and you can get a jiggy as the partially digested taffy pieces.
Exactly. See, this is making banjos easy.
Those hacks at Rare get so much credit when really anybody could do it. All right, thank you for the call, Tofu. Let's play our third call. Every call so far has started off by saying Treasure Trove Cove. Well, it's not my favorite, so hopefully we're gonna get somebody who really, really, really loves Treasure Trove Cove above all else.
Hopefully.
Hi, this is Julian calling in for the Treasure Trove Cove Spotlight episode. Oh man, Treasure Trove Cove, such a great second world in the Banjo-Kazooie. I love the pirate theme. I loved Captain Blubber and his burping. That always made me laugh as a kid. Everything about nippers and the fight with that. What I wanted to talk about was the Sea of Thieves connection, and how within the new Jinjo emote they had the whole explanation of the Treasure Trove Cove thing, and I just wanted to talk about, do you think it's within the Sea of Thieves still, or do you think that it's just within the Devil's Shroud, or do you think they're ever going to explore maybe something along those lines? Because the Sea of Thieves is kind of running low on stuff to expand upon. Like, we had the Pirates of the Caribbean and then the Monkey Island. I would really love to see like a Rare Archipelago like expansion. Like give us Treasure Trove Cove, maybe have a small little Isle of Hags like section. I don't know, but that would be, I guess, the coolest thing I would want out of Sea of Thieves with this whole Treasure Trove Cove stuff. So that's all I wanted to talk about. Hopefully you guys have a good one, and thank you for all the episodes. All right, bye guys.
Well, thank you, Julian. Oh my God! Not only do they love Sea of Thieves, they love Treasure Trove Cove.
Well, everybody limbo.
No, if we were gonna limbo, we'd have to be in Mad Monster Mansion.
Ah, you're right. You're so right, Hyle.
I have one for everything. So, yeah, like I was explaining earlier in the episode, we kind of touch upon this. I do think it's within the Devil's Shroud, and that's why it does differentiate in the Jinjo description as not being in the Sea of Thieves. Just like Tribute Peak is not considered part of the Sea of Thieves. It's this, like, exterior location you have to reach via the Devil's Shroud, but should the Shroud recede, then it is part of the Sea of Thieves again. Similar to the Devil's Roar, the volcanic region. When the game launched, that was within the Shroud, and then the Shroud receded, and we could then explore it, and then it was incorporated as part of the ecosystem and economy of the Sea of Thieves. So I think like that's where Treasure Trove Cove is, and yeah, I definitely think they should do something for Banjo-Kazooie's 30th anniversary, because like Sea of Thieves is still going to be going on. Like, I think Sea of Thieves is just going to keep existing, especially if a movie is in the works. I think eventually they might like say, okay, it's time for Sea of Thieves 2 or whatever, or it's time to upgrade. But I think whatever Sea of Thieves exists in the future as, it's still going to exist for the foreseeable future. Definitely past 2028. And so I think it's going to be Banjo-Kazooie's 30th anniversary. The fan base is getting a little bit rowdy, getting a little bit restless, and we definitely want something. And I know most people want a new game, and I think given enough time and the proper conditions at Xbox, which nervously tug on my collar, we will get. But beyond that, I think Rare could do something special, and that's put Treasure Trove Cove in the game in some capacity. And
I'd love that.
Whether it's just in custom seas or whether there is some sort of bespoke one-off tall tale that does incorporate it. Because yeah, you're right. They did do the Disney stuff with Pirates of the Caribbean and then Monkey Island, which was great. But I would really, really love for Rare to celebrate their own history and heritage a little bit. Even if it's a smaller scale, even if it's not as like grand and won't make as much of a splash, it would be lovely to see.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I love Monkey Island. I love that we got to go to Monkey Island. But I would love to see Treasure Trove Cove show. I want to see Rare give themselves some love in this game.
Yeah.
I feel like Sea of Thieves is littered with little references here and there, but there's not like something that's really just loving themselves in their past, like going all in on that.
Right. Yeah. They're not turning into washing machines to better love themselves.
Right. Yeah. You shouldn't do that, by the way.
I mean, you do it all you want. Just do it ethically.
No, don't. Don't become a washing machine.
Oh,
you don't
I was
need
just
to do
talking
that.
about masturbating.
No, that's fine. It's the washing machine part I take issue with.
You that's just body horror for Dustin.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fine.
In game happening to a little bear and bird, it's fine. In real life, I don't want to see it. And you know what? If I see anyone turn into a washing machine, I'm going to know what you're doing now. I'm going to know what you've been up to.
Dustin,
that's like putting on a t-shirt that says I just masturbated.
Dustin goes into the appliance store and he just side eyes all of the washers and dryers.
just sneering, saying filth, absolute filth, every one of you.
He starts picketing with signs and whatnot.
It's not okay.
I'm putting that out there in the universe now. Not that they'll listen to me, but maybe if enough people get on this, we can have Treasure Trove Cove in Sea of Thieves for the 30th anniversary.
No, I definitely want to see it for sure.
And Captain Black Eyes at NPC. You know what? I'll even stop pushing for TT at that point. How about that?
You'll take one or the other.
Yeah,
that'll be enough to,
at this point.
To please you.
At this point, I'm tired of the bit.
I wonder what characters would show up, because this is supposed to be Treasure Trove Cove a long, long time ago. So they can't just put in all the characters, all the memorable characters we want to see. You could do Captain Black Eye. You know what? Get Leaky in there. That'd be fun. He's a bucket. It doesn't. Who cares?
But have Leaky be a more accurate bucket to the 1700s.
That would be cool.
Yeah, I think
that's all you need, really.
Yeah, whatever Saved by the Bell intro ass design Leaky has on him in 1998 would not apply to the early 1700s. So we can just say he got a paint job to be more contemporary in the early 90s.
Yeah, I love that. I think that gives Leaky some development. Well,
I've long argued that they should have a Leaky bucket as a cosmetic in Sea of Thieves. You could just have that. They have
all the water or vomit would leak out.
Well, okay, he wouldn't be leaking then. His name is just Leaky, not because that's what he does. That's just a coincidence.
Do you think he got Leaky over time? He was just named that, but at the time of Sea of Thieves, maybe he was much better at holding liquids.
He's called Leaky because he takes care of leaks.
Yeah.
And then the irony being, he eventually leaks himself.
See, that's good. That writes itself.
All right. Thank you for the call. All right, let's play our fourth caller.
Hello, Dustin. Hello, Hyle. This is Carlmax calling into the Treasure Trove Cove episode. I'll give you a couple of sort of scattered thoughts. I think, number one, Treasure Trove Cove has a sort of disproportionate effect on the vibe that you get with Banjo-Kazooie as you sort of think about it. I think in part because this is where you get introduced to flight pads. If you haven't skipped all boss tutorials, this is where you're flying for the first time. So I think especially if you're thinking of Banjo-Kazooie as as an early exploration into vast open 3D worlds, sort of picture yourself just flying around this environment. That's certainly what I think of when I think of Banjo-Kazooie as a sort of as a sort of homey kind of almost melancholy game. I will say also that the theme for Treasure Trove Cove is an absolute bop, probably one of the best in the game. And I do wonder, this is the kind of question I have for both of you, how much do you follow Grant Kirkhope outside of what he does for the DKU, and I guess ukulele is included in that, because he is a fairly prolific composer. He's worked on a lot of games, obviously. He's worked on a little bit of film now, and Treasure Trove Cove got a little bit more spotlight when he wrote for Gameoverse, which is a indie animated show that's sort of based on the effects of video games. So he basically sort of self-plagiarized some of the things you wrote were very similar to Treasure Trove Cove. So I'm wondering how aware you've been of that, or how much does this extend? Also, can't forget the best Banjo-Kazooie character, Leaky, is introduced in this level. And Leaky told me a little leak. He leaked something to me, 3D Mario in 2027, down it.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the call.
The Leaky fans today, eating good.
They're coming out in droves. They're spilling out as if nothing can hold them back.
ain't no eggs blocking this hole.
We should get that on a shirt or maybe some shorts.
Oh, perfect for the season.
Yeah, and also, what hole are we referring to? So many holes it could refer to.
It could be any hole of your choice.
Yeah. We'll have to get on that. What was the question? I'm just thinking about holes now.
Let's see. It was talking about how cool Leaky is.
Oh, Grant Kirkhope. Kirkhope. Yeah.
Grant Kirkhope. That's right.
Yeah.
I watched Gameoverse. I heard Grant's music in it. It was good.
Did it sound like Treasure Trove Cove?
I would have to watch it again, specifically listening for it.
I mean, we know,
but maybe.
we know Grant Kirkhope kind of self-plagiarizes because we heard that even within the DKU. So,
Yeah.
it's fine. Like, it's not, disparagement. David Wise does
No,
that
it's
as
his.
well.
It's his music. If it's good music, he should revisit.
Yeah, I
it.
mean, it's what we only have so many tunes within us, really.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. I think I've spent all of mine.
Oh, yeah.
I don't even make music.
absolutely. I've got like a quarter of a song in me, and I've long
Yeah.
since used that one up.
Yeah, if you asked me to make, if you came up to me and said, Dustin, make music for a beach level, I would just be like, da, do, do, da, 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 da. See, that's probably all I got.
I would have it be like seagulls serenading you, like, "Wah, wah." That's a crow. Like, what am I even doing? I don't even know what a seagull sounds like.
We're so bad at this.
We're so terrible at this. This is why they never asked us to compose a video game.
Right. This is why we stick to podcasts.
I know you're all wondering, why haven't Dustin and Hyle ever composed for a video game? Well,
It seems up their alley.
yeah, they're so skilled at everything they do.
Well, you've seen through the facade. This is the one thing we're bad at.
Yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint you. Sorry to let everybody down.
We're only human.
Yeah, except
We're
when
infallible like the rest of you.
except when we transform into washing machines.
That's true. That's the one time when we're not human.
Yeah, and Dustin hates it. All right, let's play our fifth and final caller.
Hello, DK Vine. This is TJ. Let's talk about Treasure Trove Cove. So that's probably my favorite level in the first Banjo game. It's definitely the one where I spent the most time, given how much I was using those the sandcastle cheats. But I do want to say, I played the Banjo games at a very formative time in my creative life. You know, I was just getting into world building. I realized that I wanted to do a lot of character writing as I got older. Role playing on internet forums was really big back then. But I think between both Banjo games, out of all the worlds, I think Treasure Trove Cove is the only one where I never stopped and asked myself, what would it be like to live here? Because I think across, all of Banjo-Tooie, that game does a really good job setting up that it's one big world. I think every level in Banjo-Kazooie has one NPC who has a house. In the first Banjo game, there's areas that are like captain's quarters where you see somebody's bed, or, Mumble has a hut somewhere, or all that stuff. The other levels across both Banjo games feel really accommodating, and it's like you can see yourself hanging out there or living there. Treasure Trove Cove, I didn't really have one for me, for as much as I love visiting it in game. And I guess in that sense, you could see it more as a vacation spot. Like maybe like an actual beach would be more fun to visit, just show up and soak in the sun and then leave. But yeah, I never really thought about that until I had to think about it for this episode. Like, what would it be like to live in Treasure Trove Cove? I don't know. It's not really a place you can live. But yeah, it's a great level. I love it. I love the music, definitely. But yeah, thank you for taking the call.
Well, thank you, TJ. Yeah, I have to say, for as much as I love Treasure Trove Cove as a world, it seems pretty desolate.
Yeah, there's not even a single 7-Eleven there.
Yeah, no place to buy saltwater taffy, which I like to do when I'm at the beach.
Yeah, it's called a grocery store.
There's no
Look into it, maybe.
There's no Sensations store to buy a towel or a surfboard or a beach ball.
Right. There's no place to buy a T-shirt that says "Don't ask me, I'm drunk on the beach."
Or what was it? Ain't no holes blocking.
Yeah,
or ain't no eggs blocking these holes.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah. So that actually does sound like a shirt you would buy at the beach.
Ain't no eggs blocking these holes.
Which is an arrow pointing down. So yeah, like I was honestly thinking about this when I was preparing the notes for this episode. Like there really aren't even coconuts or pineapples or anything you would find perhaps on a deserted island for sustenance, for nourishment. And so it just seems like you're very exposed. There's not a lot of shade. And if you do try to get shade or cool down, a shark will probably get you. So it doesn't seem like a great location, which is probably why it was abandoned. Like all attempts at settling it were quickly just left to rot because, yeah, it seems like it's just been left to the yum-yums and the snippets.
Well, that's why the yum-yums are always trying to eat your eggs. They're starving. There's no fruit on these trees.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't think I would want to even vacation there, really. It would be fun to visit for like an hour, and then I'd be like, all right, I kind of want to just
get out of here.
Let's just go to Freezy.
I saw the lighthouse.
Like, at least Freezy Peak, you have a couple of locations you could, like, go inside. You could be yelled at by Waza for not being a walrus, for example.
Oh, it was great. I got yelled at by a walrus. You should really go sometime.
A really racist piece of shit made me feel bad for being a human.
Because I was a different species.
Then I became a washing machine, and he treated me exactly the same.
Yeah, I guess in the world of Banjo-Kazooie, I don't know which world I would want to live in necessarily.
Spiral Mountain. I'm basic.
I guess, yeah, that would be the one. Oh, Click Clock Wood, not bad. They seem to have, like, food at least. There's people who live there who are like, yeah, can't complain.
I've mentioned this several times when discussing Click Clock Wood. As much as I love Click Clock Wood, something that does creep me out about it is what if somebody is going through the seasonal doors, right? Uh-huh. And they come back, like, let's say we're in summer right now. Let's say somebody comes back into the summer door and says, hey, I was just in winter and you're dead.
I would maybe start making some calls.
I don't want to know my fate, right? I don't want that hanging over me.
You see that gigantic flower over there? That's going to be you.
Yeah, so no thank you. I will not reside in Click Clock Wood.
Yeah, you're right. I agree.
All right. Well, we also have a comment about Treasure Trove Cove from Minehard1. This was actually from the DK Vine Inner Circle. Dustin, would you like to read this?
I would love to read this.
Cool.
So Minehard1 says, Treasure Trove Cove is possibly the defining level of Banjo-Kazooie and the DKU in general. Exploring the cave-like Grunty's lair, it felt wondrous to discover. The nautical painted room with ships and cannons, cramped and stifling like a crowded children's playroom. See, that doesn't sound good, but, so there's more. I didn't realize, I thought it was just this one bit. I didn't realize there was more.
No, there's more.
Jump in the treasure chest and step off the dock. Behind, vast ocean meets blue eternal sky. In front, a strange island with lighthouse on top and all sorts of secrets. The tropical music kicks in, and suddenly, young people everywhere are experiencing the ocean for possibly the first time in their lives. They were all, this is just me, this is not what Minehard says, but they were all doing the leaky that day.
I was like, wow, Minehard is thinking the exact same thing as we were.
I know, they're similar wavelengths. Minehard continues and says, NPCs like Nipper, the level boss, you might just meet right away. Captain Blubber, Snacker Shark, and Leaky Bucket are met and never forgotten. There's also Sharktooth Island, which inspired playground lore that made the jump into internet theory crafting, and similarly an underwater castle, a sort of hub to all the game's secrets. Did I mention treasure chests will chomp at you and you learn to fly? If you play Treasure Trove Cove, then you know the nautical language of DKC2 and Sea of Thieves, the humor of DKC1 and DK64, you've seen Greg Mayles and Grant Kirkhope near their best, and landlocked children will one day meet the ocean and think, hello, I know you. What a beautiful little thought.
Yeah, it's definitely more glowing about Treasure Trove Cove than, well, it's not beach.
Well, I like that we worked our way up. We started out with some lukewarm Treasure Trove Cove opinions, and then as the calls went on, up to Maynard's comment, now people can't get enough of Treasure Trove Cove.
I'm saying, like, there's a wide diversity of thought towards these games. From it exists, I guess, to to this very formative experience in your life, experiencing Treasure Trove Cove.
Yeah, and that should be how it is. Like, you want every world in your game to have its fans somewhere. You don't want to have a world that's, like, just universally considered the worst.
Yeah. Well, I guess that then very easily segues into our final thoughts, because I have a question about Treasure Trove Cove. And given the wide range of opinions from our callers and commenters, despite the two of us, loving Treasure Trove Cove, Dustin, I think it's telling that the Banjo-Kazooie gang went to a different beach for their end of game vacation.
You know what? Let's not go to that one.
Because as much as people complain about seagulls taking your fries at the beach, or the ants scurrying away with your saltwater taffy, at least most people don't have to contend with yum-yums jumping up on you and pulling out your eggs with their mouths. And then your holes just start leaking everywhere.
Oh, we've all been there.
We've all been there. Buy the shirt at dkvine.com/merchandise. I'm going to have to really make one now. Oh, buy the shorts at dkvine.com/merchandise. Let me just have some alternate takes here. Buy the refrigerator magnet at dkvine.com/merchandise. You can also put it on your washing machine body. Wink. You cad. You filthy pervert. Buy the sticker at dkvine.com/merchandise. You can stick it anywhere, even on your washing machine, which is cleaning the things that you made sticky.
This has been a File 2 production.
Que rico.